This will be the final episode of the series, where I'll reiterate the things that we've learned, and also create a new custom decoration. The purpose of this series was to describe and teach the processes that I go through when creating a hideout. You could definitely just copy the designs that I've shown throughout the series, but I do hope that you apply these steps when creating your own hideout and designs. It's sort of like the proverb, where you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So on to the final project. Originally, I wanted to create a piano. I decided against it for several reasons, which I'll go over later. Instead, I decided on creating a pipe organ. If we take a look at the Google image results for the grand piano, you'll see that the design is fairly standardized. They all look pretty much the same. And if we take a look at the distinguishing features of it, it has a lid as well as an open bottom, and there's only these legs to support it. These two features is the main reason why I'm not doing a piano. There are, of course, different types of pianos that do not have these features, but I just really wanted to make a grand piano. Diagonal decorations are very rare in the current version of the game. I only found 2 decorations that had the correct height as well as being a diagonal as well. So the dark cargo wagon as well as the barricade decoration. But I think for the dark cargo wagon there's this bit that would get in the way of the piano, so pretty much I'm forced to use the barricade, which does not look that good. Furthermore, the underneath of the piano would probably have to be solid, since I don't think that there's any decorations that would give us this amount of open space underneath it. I'm not saying that a grand piano within the game is impossible, it's just that it probably wouldn't turn out that well compared to an organ which I'm going to make. So if we look at the pipe organ in the image results, you'll see that there's varying different styles of them, but there are some unifying characteristics. Here are the different steps in creating decorations. We've already finished the first 2, so now let's check out the distinguishing features. The first feature of the organ is, of course, the pipes. All of them have exposed pipes and it's quite high off the ground. Most organs have several rows of keyboards, and they usually have around 4 keyboards. Next, there's the draw knobs, which are these little buttons on the sides, and the pedals and pistons, which are below the keyboard. And finally, we have the music stand, which is above the keyboard, and it's where the organist reads the music. It's not present in every organ, but it is in most of them. So what I'll do next is create a new hideout and go through the list of the features and find decorations that are appropriate for them. So before choosing a hideout, we need to think of the 3 criteria for them: the theme, the size, and the lighting. The size and the lighting should support the theme. So since we're doing a pipe organ, they're mostly in churches, so the theme will be a church. The size doesn't matter since it's not a full hideout, and the lighting should be dark because it's inside, and we can have a lot of options for playing around with lighting later. You could create an outside hideout and simulate the darkness of the interior with shadows from trees or other decorations, but there may be some issues depending on the direction of the sunlight and the draw distance of the decorations. So between our choices of Zana, Katarina, and Elrion, I think Katarina's would be the least optimal hideout, simply because of the rain coming down. I think that Zana's would be the best choice because of the white flooring. So this is the last that you'll see of the Tomb of the Giants. So now that we've chosen the hideout, we need a good place to place our organ. I think this area would be nice to put it. It's on an elevated area, much like real life, and it has enough space for us to put our decorations. It's always good to start off with the base of your decoration, whilst also keeping in mind the other decorations that you need to put around it. So because pretty much all of the features are dependent on the positioning of the keyboard, I'll start with that first. So before I place anything down, we first need to find out the orientation that the organ will be at. Because of the space that we took and the angle of the stairs, we'll just place it at a 45-degree angle, and it may also be helpful to center it. So because there's 6 tiles, we know that the center is between the 3rd and the 4th tile. So we want to fill out these 3 criteria when creating our keyboard. Since there's 4 keyboards of each varying height, we want to take that into account when searching for decorations. So I'll just place down a shelf here to make it easier to see the elevations between the different decorations. And I'll go through the list and see which ones would be good for the keyboard. I found decorations for 5 different elevations for the keyboard, but I think if I use the wall, then I can't use the valve furniture decoration because it's too close to the ball part. So I think I'll use the valve furniture for this lower one instead. I'll have the keyboard start around here, which should give us enough space for the pedals in the front and the pipes in the back. The keyboard is almost complete. All that's left to do is to add the black keys, or the accidental keys, in a 2 and 3 alternating pattern. For the black keys, I'll be using the tombstone, and in some of the variations I can get enough height for them to only be a little bit higher than the keyboard. I finished the keyboard, and I think it works pretty well. Everything is readable, and the individual keys can be seen pretty clearly. So we'll work on the next feature now. I think I'll work on the pedals and pistons next. I could do the draw knobs, it doesn't really matter, but I do want to do the pipes last, since the pipes will go in the back of everything. So we'll look at our reference, and there's some big pedals on the top and some knobs to the side, and below there's the pedals that mirror the keyboard. So because I'm using the machine for the pedals, and it's not at a perfect 90-degree angle, and when I rotate it, it's still not aligned. So what I'll do is try and get it as close to 90 degrees as possible, and then put another one on it, and try and make these little pedals as close as possible. And then I'll know that all of them have the same angle. The pedals and pistons are now complete. It took me much longer than I expected. I had to deal with a lot of different angles, and it took me a while to find these knob decorations, but it's done. I think I'll end the video here as it is getting quite long. In the next episode, we'll be doing part 2 of the organ.